book, which has to do with the slaughter of the Christians. But that is not an issue of the ISIS. ISIS has been a product of the American, Israeli, and Sunni, Turkish, as well as Saudi Arabian involvement to create a caliphate where they can control some of Syria, break up Iraq, and then eventually they have to come to terms and peace with Jews and Christian minorities, which they're trying to do. I do not defend the caliphate, but basically what's happening is a total reorganization of the Middle East by America and the influence of this president and his vice president, Biden, who was accused by Robert Gates, the director of the CIA, as being stupid, General Stanley McChrystal as being stupid, and Petraeus. Yet this is the only man who predicted 10 to 20 years ago that we would have a breakup of Iraq. We were never going to build a nation in Iraq. We were never
Sure, that's clearly been the plan, is getting it weak the whole time to do that.
I'm sorry?
I mean, clearly the plan has been to get Iraq weak the whole time to do that. It's a clear program of balkanization.
Well, it was after the Bush, Cheney, and the neocons. We wanted to break it up because it had no viability as a centralized organization.
All right, sir, we've got to go to break. I want to come back and shift gears over to Russia and briefly find out what you think about the whole shoot down of the plane and get your perspective on that. But briefly, what do you think of them refusing to enforce border laws and just opening the border up wide open? I think Obama could use this as a crisis to power grab.
No, I don't think so. I don't think Obama really needs to have a power grab. He's already been in an executive expansion without a power grab. Basically, I always believe that these children should be brought back to their home countries. The real culprit in this is Mexico. Mexico should never have allowed them a transit point, because if I want to go into Mexico and become a Mexican citizen, it's almost impossible for them.
No, I know. So why is Mexico doing that?
Because Mexico wants to put pressure on our borders for them to get more money for us to help them out financially.
No, that's it. They've been demanding a Marshall Plan, so they're holding us ransom.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's just all right there. Well, I can't argue with any of that.
Well, it's money. Yeah. Alex, it's always follow the money.
Cold, hard analysis with Steve Pieczenik, a real spy master, on the phone with us. Whether you agree with him or disagree, it's definitely interesting to get his perspective. We'll be right back to get his take on MH17, where it's all going with Putin and more. Then your phone calls and another guest straight ahead on this Thursday live edition. InfidelBodyArmor.com or 888-608-6605. 20% off or $20 off. Enter code ALEX at checkout and receive free shipping on orders over $100 and $20 off with the code ALEX at InfidelBodyArmor.com or 888-608-6605. Going back to Dr. Steve Pieczenik, thank you for giving us the perspective of what the establishment thinks they're doing with this, and I can agree with what you're saying because we can see it unfolding and see what the think tanks are saying, piecemeal, putting it together. But specifically with Russia and what's happening there, and George Soros and the rest of it over there, what do you think about what happened with MH17?
Well, I think MH, first you have to remember, Malaysia is what I call a pimp country. It is run by the Genting Group, which is huge investments in the United States. Again, it's money issue. They run the casinos in Miami, Pennsylvania, New York. They run the cruise ships, the Norwegian cruise ship, the Bimini line. They came out of the drug smuggling business. They're still a very, very nefarious country, which will do anything for money and will work with us or anybody else. So the issue of a down plane is not as significant to me as the issue of what it means in terms of the United States and Russia. Again, I hate to say this, but what Obama did on behalf of this administration was to create economic sanctions. Now, I agree with that because we don't need to go to war. Our country is tired of sending boys to Iraq and Afghanistan thanks to Bush and Cheney, who never went to war. But instead, we did something much more effective. We lowered the ruble. We forced an economic flood of money out of close to $100 billion of investment money out of Russia. We forced the indices of the market to go down. The Russians are hurting economically. They will hurt economically. And the reason we can do this is because the only product they can sell on the open market is $100 a barrel of oil. Now, having done that, what happens is Putin has been put up there by the CIA and other intelligence units. You got to understand, nothing happens in Russia or the world without our CIA and our intelligence community helping to put it there. And in the respect, we want Putin out. And what's happening is 3 divisions of his intelligence service. That's the FSB, which he was head of the KGB, and the SVR, which is their foreign intelligence, plus the GRU, their military intelligence, has been fighting over the fact that Putin has not been able to economically maintain a stability in Russia. And in turn, they're the ones who deal with the economic fallout because they're the ones who do anti-corruption work, but they are involved in corruption. And in turn, they're fighting among each other. And what you saw in the Ukraine was the GRU, FSB fighting among them, each other. It's very much like our military intelligence fights with the CIA, but much more lethal because the head of that is Putin. And Putin is hurting because we forced him to stretch out all the way into Ukraine. Remember, the Ukraine in and of itself has no basic value to us. In terms of strategic force structure, it really doesn't impact on Europe.
So it's a proxy war like Afghanistan.
Well, it's even less than that because Afghanistan was totally desolate. Here we have a $15 billion liability. In other words, the minute we pick up the Ukraine, despite what everybody says, we have a dead asset that is not worth $15 billion. But we have.
Well, you can cut off Russian gas and then make them buy it from the U.S.
Well, we can do that, but that would be Cozabella. But we don't need.
Tell you what, Doc, do 5 more minutes with us, and I promise callers, I'll get to you as well. You'll just be on with Professor Yamamoto. Darlene, Terrence, James, Dennis, Eddie, I'm going to get to all of you. So stay with us. Dr. Pieczenik, stay there, back in 60 seconds. We've got photos up on Infowars.com taken by astronauts of rockets and explosions. Photos of it taken from space. Pretty chilling. Dr. Steve Pieczenik's our guest. Your calls are coming up. Doc, finishing up with what's happening with Putin. I mean, I know that there were deals with Yeltsin for the so-called collapse of the Soviet Union. I know that there were deals with Putin early on. Then he went after a bunch of the oligarchs, European oligarchs and others. And my whole issue is I don't really see Russia trying to expand anywhere. And I don't want a unipolar world. I mean, I want to see sovereign nations out there operating off their trade. I don't like communist China. That's who I really see as being just nightmarishly oppressive. I get they've got a huge population, but I mean, are you endorsing the toppling of Putin and putting something else in?
Yes. I think it's time for Putin to leave, but I don't have to endorse anything. Basically, what's happening is Putin has spent 14 years in the Soviet and Russian unit. He was trained by Marcus Wolf. By the way, he was a Jewish spy master who was appointed by Stalin and Marcus Wolf.
He was the head of the Stasi.
He was head of Stasi, but also, you have to understand, Putin was really trained by Stasi in East Germany. That's why he and Merkel really get along very well. But Putin has no strategic sense, and he is becoming too counterproductive to really world trade. And what we're interested in, and quite frankly, America's not interested in war. We're interested in world trade. And as you said, China is expanding very quickly. They're expanding in the Indian Ocean, the Middle East, and Africa, and world trade. And we want to compete with that. And Putin,
hey, by the way, sometime I'll tell the whole audience a story. One time they said they wanted me on like Interfax, national Russian television. And when they punched up the Skype for the interview, the video feed was this big, giant government hall. And all these like obvious FSB people, but like the brain bugs, not like the knuckle draggers, all like interrogating me. It wasn't for TV, asking about you and why you came on my show. And I said, I don't know. But then they started getting real paranoid, thinking I was an Asian or something. What do you want to say to them?
Oh, I don't want to say anything. I want to say, it means all the best to you. You know what you have to do. You take out Putin, and the rest is you want your money, and you want to be able to come to the United States. You want to be able to come to Switzerland and Europe. So get rid of Putin. That's it.
Well, that was a couple of years ago that happened, but it was really weird.
Well, it continues. Alex, it's always continuing. Russia, since Catherine the Great, has always been in internal turmoil. And remember, the Soviet Union was 122 countries. Russian Federation is 11 time zones right now. It is huge, and Putin can't control it. I mean, economically, it has to develop beyond oil and gas, and it can't.
The Russians like a strong man, and he makes them feel good. All the polls show that.
Well, that's that's up till now, until they get very hungry and they realize that they don't have the Germans coming in for technology. They don't have the American investments on technology to extract the oil out of the Bering Straits, and they don't have their access points out of the Crimea. Now, the one thing we did agree to when the takedown of the Soviet Union is that Crimea belongs to Russia. And we never argued over that point. And they knew that. The Russians know that. And unfortunately, we should never have ever made Crimea a point, because that's their only exit point for their...
Well, no, it's meant to force them into a larger conflict.
That's correct. It was agitation propaganda. Rightfully or wrongfully, our CIA effectively created agitprop and economic warfare.
Well, here's the deal. I don't like the government agitpropping my guns, my property, or my children. And that's why I don't like the people running this country. And that's why, I just don't support anything they're up to.
Well, remember, we're a democracy and we were based on a revolution, Alex. That revolution is always innate in our genetic...
I agree. We should take the country back.
Well, we are taking it back. As I said to you, the devolution of power is negating the two parties. We don't need the Democrats and we don't need the Republicans. And quite frankly, we don't need the president.
This has been one of our best talks. Thank you, Dr. Steve Pieczenik. Hope you're having a nice week. StevePieczenik.com.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll talk to you again soon. All right, we got Professor Hamamoto coming up, and if the callers want to hold, I promise I'll get to you. Stay with us.